Mr. Eggplant presents.
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thanks for checking out this video. And it's finally out, the long-awaited plus 12 Motherlode that I did with my guild Draexit of Zangarmarsh. And this was the first time that I have timed a plus 12 this season. Haven't been pushing my keys nearly as much as I had hoped so far, and you will see throughout this video that it will be cut in places. As you can see right now, we did struggle with some of the beguiling ads, particularly the ones that we weren't allowed to interrupt the spritzes. So we learned, as Glitch just said there, two ham, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. So the group comp is as follows. We've got Nerf as a Havoc Demon Hunter, Glitchy our guild leader and our main take for raid. He is on his about said Balance Druid. I wish he was still playing Balance, but his Guardian Druid. We've got Necro. I want to say he's Fury or Arms. He's got to be one of those two because he's not Prot. I swear, I don't run with a warrior enough to know. I think that's Fury. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Fury. I could be wrong. We'll see. He'll leave me a comment if I am wrong. And then Star is healing as that's Holy, right? I believe that's Holy. Holy or Disc. I'm really unprepared for this video. Either way, this was a great run, and of course, I am on my marksmanship hunter. So we are currently going through here, which is the plus 12 Motherlode, and this was recorded on the 11th, as you can see up there in the corner of the screen. And this was a pretty good week to push, in my opinion. So it is fortified. It is skittish. Skittish is pretty much non-existent when you do have a hunter who rolls misdirect, though. So Glitch was always happy to have me in the group, of course. And then we have bolstering, which we do unfortunately bolster a few ads way more than we need to. So if we were to go in here and do this again, we would definitely want to clean it up for sure. But then, of course, we have the plus 10 or better affix for Season 3, which is Beguiling. So we are going to have a couple of cuts here fairly quickly, just because we bolstered the heck out of this group. Like we ended up having another group get pulled here, and this Peacemaker had 12 stacks. Count them, 12 stacks. So we waited till it fell off, then we went back in there and killed him. So as you can see there, the timer went down by like 8 minutes. So we did kind of struggle here at the beginning. We would have had no issues timing this, and we could have even two-chested this had we have not spent so much time here at the beginning. So hindsight 2020, of course. If we would have had another crack at a 12 key, I think we could have two-chested it with our group.
Real aggressive.
So as for me on my marksman hunter, I am currently item level 424 in this video. My neck level is 62, I believe. I'm almost 64 now, but I'm 62 here, and my essence I'm running with is the Azerite beam. Normally you would not want to run that on weeks that are bolstering. However, we were doing it in such a manner that where we would just use them all at priority times, and we didn't have an issue with it. We didn't bolster too much. Normally, whenever we were bolstering, like that mob that had 12, it was because it got pulled, and that just kind of happens sometimes. But we're as a guild group, and we were just trying to complete it, but we did actually time it, which was pretty nice. And then I believe my first miner, I don't have another miner yet, although I will soon, and I'll have a video out for that. So if you guys are watching my channel for my Marksman Hunter videos, definitely check that one out, because it'll be out probably by the end of next week for sure, as soon as I get to neck level 65. But then it will be Visions of Perfection, because it's super nice. I'm still trying to figure out exactly which of my major essences I want to run. I've been kind of split in between Cauldron of Flame and the one from Raid. I've been kind of flip-flopping on that to see which one does the most amount of damage. So as for this pack here, we want to make sure and interrupt the assassin there. That way he doesn't get his poisons out. He did get one tick, as Glitch had said there, and then we want to make sure and knock him back whenever he does his flechettes. Or hatchets, whatever. Yeah, there we go. Flechettes. Hail of flechettes. And I just want to make sure, as I'm hopefully not going to get dodged there, we go, that we just want to make sure that he doesn't get that damage off, because it is a huge amount of damage. So we got up here to the first boss, and we're going to make sure, and I bring out my new pet, which is Deep Glider, which is a rare from Nazjatar. But we are going to make some quick work of this boss here, and I will make sure and lust whenever the bombs come out, so they start doing damage. So we want to make sure and dodge the Shocking Claw there. Pretty standard at this point. And go ahead and lust, and let's do some amazing amounts of damage. So I am currently my trinkets as well. I am running, I think in this one, I am actually running with Harlan's loaded dice instead of the Ashvane trinket, because I just didn't think I would have things stay alive long enough, if I'm being completely honest. Then I am running with the Ink Pod, just because it's just passive damage, which I love. So I get my beam out there, got the foot bombs headed our way. Make sure I don't want to make sure I not get hit by the claw, but I was perfectly fine. So if you are a hunter out there, you definitely want to make sure and not get your aim shot interrupted by that knockback that he just did there. And the best way to do that is to be casting a steady shot or casting your rapid fire then. That's what I always do, and it keeps my damage high, and I don't waste any of my casts. Because as you know, especially when you're running with a low amount of haste, as I just whiffed there, tried to get it in there, couldn't do it. You want to make sure all your movements and all your casts count. So down goes the first boss. Did some pretty good damage there. We had to make sure that the bombs were not going to blow up. And then we're just going to continue on here. Throughout the dungeon, we go on the right side up to the second boss. And from there, we go to the left side. And then we go up the right side in between bosses 3 and 4. So on these, we just want to make sure and just blow up the tides. As you can hear him, we were asking to see if we could time our beams, because that's really what we want to do to eliminate some of these smaller packs. That way they just don't bolster at all. Because in this dungeon, there is a few issues, primarily with pushing or pulling large packs, is that there are different adds with different amounts of health that will then eventually bolster. And, we want to stay away from bolstering as much as possible. So I'll just move on to this next pack here, and we had really good AoE damage as a group too. So that can't be underestimated either, because we had some pretty good AoE where we could pretty much do a large amount of damage to they were all almost dead by the time they would start bolstering. So if you're going to bolster something, you want to make sure and just bolster it when it's almost dead.
So do we want to do a bigger than average pull, or just slow?
Unfortunately, though, we did have a few people die to the explosions of all things, like just the oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to throw a bomb at my feet, and I'm dead, but I took you with me type thing. But overall, Motherlode is one of my favorite dungeons this expansion. I would probably say Freehold is number 1, just because I freaking love pirates. If anybody knows me, I love pirates to death, even in Legos, everything. As we'll go through here, pull the next one, and Nerfo took the death.
I was out of that circle, but okay.
That happens, unfortunately, but
don't you get up
not a big deal. Want to make sure to interrupt the earth shields there. But I would say this is probably my 3rd favorite, maybe 2nd. For some reason, Temple of Sutherless is on my top 5, and I can't really tell you why. But number 2, number 2 for sure is going to be Toldagor. So not only can I get items out of there, so maybe that's kind of weighing on my mind a little bit, that I do them a lot because they drop items I want. But I just love like the prison atmosphere of the dungeon itself. So I mean, this is season 3, so we have run Motherlode a lot. So there's not too much to talk about on a lot of these ads. Just as with your interrupt, you want to make sure and interrupt the Earth Shapers. That way they don't get their Earth Shields out, just because they just make things annoying. And so you'll see me. We'll pull these small guys here, and then we'll end up pulling the Stone Fury, and I will always call out that I will get the first interrupt, so I will get that interrupt there, and then he will get the second interrupt, because of course, if you don't interrupt the tectonic barrier, then you can't interrupt the second cast.
Look at that pack with the cover.
Yeah, we're looking up there right now. That we actually didn't have that hard of a problem. Like we
was about to say, can we lust that?
That's exactly what I just said. That's
no.
yeah, we should have
I'm
lusted
scared.
there instead of the first boss, but it didn't matter. We did just fine. So you see, I'm gonna mark that guy. So in comms, I am saying
trying to
that
warp
I will
both
interrupt
if I
Skull
can.
first. That way that there's no
Alright, I'm on
wasted
it.
interrupts, especially
Oh, no,
considering
stop it.
as
What?
a marksman
Okay,
hunter we
I
have a
guess I
24-second cooldown on
Cast
our interrupt.
continued on my screen. That was terrifying.
So we did bolster these
to
guys,
confirm,
which
they
was a
didn't
bad
do it,
idea,
right?
which I did too, which was my fault. I should not have done it that way. But unfortunately, it didn't cost. Well, I guess fortunately, it didn't cost us. So in the end of the day, I'm learning from this video on what not to do and still succeed. So we'll just get rid of these guys here, and then we're gonna do probably the hardest pack in here, since there is the emissary there. I'm gonna guess that this is probably the hardest pack. I think we lose a couple of people on this poll, but we're gonna find out here in just a second. So on this poll, obviously we want to just focus her first. So I'm gonna cleave off of her. So I'm gonna make sure and misdirect onto Glitch for this ginormous poll. Lead in with my beam. That way it takes the most, or he gets the most use out of the misdirect with the beam. And that way I don't pull aggro off of him. Will you focus the emissary and then just go to town? So then we're just going to start picking them off because she is going to start disappearing here soon. So I'm going to throw down a trap. That way it starts to slow those guys. That because he will anima there, as he said. And then he is going to start
some meaties,
kiting away very soon. So these rock lances, they don't hurt now. Well, I guess they would hurt more since they are fortified right now. But as we lose a necro there, unfortunately. But as they get bolstered and they just randomly pick somebody, they will Shrek you. They will absolutely destroy you. So you want to definitely be careful. And the one thing, too, is this guy did get bolstered, but not as much as I actually thought he would. When I'm watching this back, I was like, wait a minute. He's going to be bolstered to hell. But he's only got 3 stacks right there, so we want to make sure and get as much damage on him as possible. And unfortunately, I did use some big cooldowns there into his cover shield, where he's not taking nearly as much.
From another bolster, to be completely honest with you.
Oh shit, run.
Oh no! Don't die!
don't die
You
yet,
mad,
friend.
man.
So we'll go ahead and continue to get damage on the Taskmaster just before. So we just don't want to bolster him again because we couldn't remove him far enough away. I guess if you had another class that could taunt something away, that could be something to do. And it looks like we didn't lose anybody there, which is nice. And we're heading into the second boss as I check out with my new Swift Zulian Tiger, and I'm getting very close to getting 400 mounts, and I will have that video out very soon, to where. Just show you guys my new mounts that I got, and I got my favorite mount of all time, which is, of course, the Swift Zulian Tiger. So luckily for us, Glitch did an amazing thing and put all of the guys in an Ursal there. That way I can just sit there and just go to town and just absolutely destroy them with our AoE damage. Because of course I am making sure I have my bombardment, my trick shots buff, and then I just do damage. That's pretty much it. And on this boss, the only change from Season 2 to Season 3 is that whenever he calls new little ads, he will call 2 instead of 1. Otherwise, this fight is pretty much like normal. Most people don't use the totems to stop one of or 2 of them. I haven't really done that in several, I guess in Season 1. Honestly, don't bother with it anymore. But then we just get him down. He's going to rage and gaze them. It's always the rage and gaze, and then we're just gonna finish off the boss here. So he just brought out the second guys, and we're just gonna continue to AOE them down. The beauty is there is 3 targets. That means we can cleave.
I love that spell, man. Ever since they gave it back to me, I was like, yes.
So we'll continue to get the ads down. That way, it wouldn't be so bad if they were on me. Since I can just kite them around. But if they do end up getting on one of the melee, it is a little bit harder for them to kill them and get away from them, and still do damage to the boss. So I'll use my beam there, especially while there was still another ad to be able to get hit by it as well. And now just life is easy. We'll just continue to take him down. He doesn't have too much health. He's got what, 8.5 million, if I can read right. Maybe it's more. The when I'm actually watching this, it's kind of blurred right now, so I do apologize for that. But he doesn't have too much health. He has less than 10 million for sure. And we're doing pretty good damage as a group. If the lowest damage on your team is 24k, I think you're doing okay. And because we're not going to be pushing, 15, 16s, 17s, 20s, that sort of thing. So down goes the second boss, and as I'm running towards the minecart, we're going to be heading down to just get towards the third boss, and we are going to be going to the left. We figured that was probably easier. As you're going to hear Glitch scream here in a second, the rats were probably bad to bolster because we did bolster the heck out of them, but we didn't die, or at least all of us didn't die, so that's what counts. And as you can see there, I made sure and misdirect to Glitch. That is very important. That way I don't pull aggro off of him, and then he really doesn't have any problems with...
Do you know if Nox stops that?
Actually, he asked that during the dungeon, and I don't really know if knockbacks will stop him to do that or not. I'll have to find it out and test it with our bursting shot next time. But we found that if I misdirect at the beginning of a pull, he doesn't have problems with aggro at all after that.
It does.
So there we figured out. I answered my own question, as we've got a test subject coming, so we want to make sure and kill those test subjects, but yet we also want to make sure and kill the testers as well. Because look at these rats. There's 2 stacks on that guy. 2 stacks, 4 stacks on that one. 4 stacks, 5, 5, 6. Can I hear a 7? Do I hear 7 stacks?
Maybe I was wrong.
Actually, that's 8, 9.
Not like that.
Only 9 stacks. There we go. I felt like an auctioneer there.
Laziness.
So we're going to go ahead and B-resing there just to save us a little bit of time, because we weren't sure if we were going to time it yet. We do make it by about a minute at the end of the timer here. So we're just pulling a little bit smaller. There's only 2 packs, or 2 people in this pack. We will eventually get either the Mastermind or the Alchemist down there. I can't see which one it is. But we'll get these guys. I think it is actually the Mastermind, because he's the one that pats. So we just want to make sure on these guys to interrupt that ability, the transfusion or transmogrification, whatever it's called. I just know to interrupt it. Not that one, but the other one that turns them into the little amalgamation. You definitely don't want those around.
That's what I was going to do.
So he got, I guess it was a couple of alchemists. The Mastermind will be next. And as you can see there, we have another emissary that's headed our way very soon. I pretty much was in charge of dealing with all of those guys just because I was the only ranged. And we didn't necessarily want to have Star deal with that. It wasn't really easy for her to do that. So then I'm going to get my beam up and going, do as much damage onto him where it's not going to bolster anybody. And we'll get our shots off here and making sure to use our interrupt if we need to on the transmogrify.
Ursolzing the feckless.
So we want to make sure that they don't run and pull anything. And then last but not least is the Alchemist. Didn't have too much health. We did bolster it twice, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Unfortunately, we did bolster the Mastermind, but that is all right.
It's okay.
Alright, I think it's kick you back in now.
We're just going to make sure and take this guy out, and then we'll move up into that emissary pack.
It's fine. Like, don't worry about it.
I sound like a robot.
And otherwise, like
No,
this
actually,
this
you sound just fine.
place is pretty standard.
different
Like we didn't have to
difference,
do anything other than that first bit. We didn't have to
Your
do
movement's
anything
also choppy.
crazy to
How are we
get
doing
through
this next
here
pull? You got
and time it. Because as long as you're trying to just one chest keys, like you don't have to go crazy. There's very few dungeons where you do, kind of like Shrine of the Storms. That's the one that I really feel like you really need to be going fast and pull big. Otherwise, you're not going to get through it in time.
I can't stop it.
Just because of take that damage there and use my pocket heal for the win, as I accidentally let that guy get in there a little too close. That was my fault. But Shrine of the Storms is only the one that I can think of. Like you have to pull big to be able to get through it, just because the timer is kind of unforgiving, if I'm being completely honest. Although I have 2 chests out of 10, so maybe it's just I'm not in the right groups is all.
I can.
So we'll just finish this up here, and then we're going to get over to the third boss. So I will meet you guys over there for the third boss, and we're going to do some amazing damage.
Oh, sweet merciful Poseidon. They didn't put an emissary in this next pack. This pack hurts as well. Can't stop that. Thank you for the Guardian Spirit. I'm conserving cooldowns through it. Maybe not. Jeez. Anima. He's coming back, don't worry. Therefore, you eat. Never mind.
All right, and we're going to get to the third boss here. And we do lust on this boss just because it's
I'm
not really
waiting for
worth
at least 2
lusting on the
ticks. Go.
fourth boss, particularly because time would not have allowed it. I think it does at the very end, but we're just going to burst her down here really fast. This is pretty much a pure single target. Just kill her as fast as possible. And as you get up to higher keys or keys that are on Tyrannical, you want to make sure and use her abilities to actually clean the area. That way you want to bait out which way she's going to get rid of, or use her spray to get rid of the Azerite on the ground. So her propellant blast, it was not on us, but we're just going to stand over here and see if I can clear off over here. And she cleared off the other side, which is perfectly fine.
For you guys.
It's super easy if you stand on her side, and then you can actually, as she starts to cast it, you can run through her. So then you don't have to worry about taking any of the damage, and she still pushes back.
How hard of Azeroth to just be able to pick the
So
shit
pretty
up, right?
standard stuff on this fight. Was just kill her as quick as possible. We've got several people doing 30k, which makes it a lot easier. And we've got my True Shot coming up here, and of course, with our build, True Shot is the way to go. I'm actually surprised I didn't use it. I might have been saving. I think I was. I was actually saving that cooldown for the first pack here as we get past this boss. So I would have done more damage had I have used it, but it's probably better off that we have that damage on ads because we do have a Emissary of the Tides here, so we want to burst her down as quick as possible. I use the beam to start off with and then immediately go into my True Shot after I already had my bombardment / trick shots buff, and then we'll just go to town.
How to help that, right? Am I eating mines this
and
week?
As he was asking, I can pretty much kill the mines. It's not too hard, and because they do not bolster, they do not, sir. So
okay.
well, it's changed, as Glitch is saying there. It has changed quite a bit to where sometimes they bolster, sometimes they don't. And then, like in Temple of Setherless, sometimes the little guys have bolstered in between boss 3 and 4, but then sometimes they don't. Sometimes they put necrotic on, sometimes they don't. Like, it's so crazy, and Blizzard keeps changing these things. So I know that there's some weeks where, oh, look, it's sanguine or it's necrotic. Oh, we're probably not going to run then. Like Temple of Setherless, for example, like this week. So we're just going to move up through here. We're going to kill this pack here and then move up to the right. And then we're just going to hit the last boss and get back there as soon as possible. So I will see you guys at the fourth boss.
Gonna Ursol's these mines. Nice. There's one over here that I can eat. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna eat this, I guess.
We're going to the left.
Okay.
20% is.
Oh shit.
Shit, what? Shit, what?
I fell down.
Okay.
I'm good. Sorry, I
No,
just fell
don't
off the
die. I'm
cliff.
sorry.
Ryan.
I didn't figure this would be too bad a pull. Sorry. Oh no, concussion church. I can eat one. It'll hurt. It'll hurt, but I can eat one. I don't think me pulling this back into the other one would be a wise idea. There's an emissary.
40 seconds.
Backing off from the robot.
What's up? Yeah. No, fuck it. It just. God damn, it just disappeared. I must have misclicked it.
Alright.
Never mind.
Knocking this guy back and ursolzing him and pulling. Big booty pull. Walking in with a meaty.
This was definitely a risky pull here, but we had to make sure, and we have 5 minutes and 38 seconds left, so we wanted to make sure and time this. So we just unloaded on the emissary here, and then what I did is I just cleaved off of the war machine after that. And the only thing we want to make sure and do, because if you cleave off the war machine, you're going to be doing the majority of your damage to it, so then you won't bolster it as much. You just want to make sure and kill the guys who are going to heal him with repair. Other than that, and you also don't want those heart seekers to get super beefy because they do a lot of damage on their own. Like, they don't need any help. So interrupt the overcharge there, but we interrupted it with death instead. Take down these last two Sky Scorchers, and then we're just going to get in here and finish it. Look at that. Like, that did so much damage.
Yeah. And Stark probably, well, it's not.
And we have all of our
Still
forces.
mad.
We were over by forces by a little bit, but it wasn't anything too crazy to where that really would have hampered our push.
Or not. Hello?
So we've got Necro that fell there, but we're going to get him back up here. We've got 4 minutes and 26 seconds. We have 4 minutes left on our sated buff. Probably actually a little bit less than that. As we pull the boss here with 4:20 left. And already got the boss marked up. I went ahead and used my focused Azerite beam there. That way we could get it on cooldown. Because otherwise it's not easy to use in this fight. Because this fight you move a lot.
It's not
so here comes the Gatling. And as he was saying, we definitely don't want to get hit by it. And it sounds like Nerfo was getting hit by it. Unfortunately, I did waste a lot of my true shot there, which was my fault. I should not have used it there knowing that a machine gun was coming out, or a Gatling gun, I should say.
Move. The Boombas are going to be there. Beware.
We've got Boombas headed our way here, and we'll have to get in the safe spot. We are pretty safe. I could have been a lot closer. However, I am trying to figure out if one of the homing rockets, this missile here, I'm trying to see if I will get it. Because see here, if I get it, I'll make it so only I get hit with the debuff that does damage and not the rest of the group. Use my cheetah to get to back to the group, and then we just want to make sure and do damage to the Sky Scorchers. Pretty simple stuff. Like I said, like this was a pretty good run, and oh my god, they want me to die. Both of them wanted me to die. I'm so glad. He went ahead. He went ahead and used his roar. That way I wouldn't get hit by them. But I had used the turtle anyway, so it's all good. As we just take down these ads, we get the smash on all three of the little rockets, I guess. So we're just basically waiting, just a waiting game now. We have 2 minutes and 35 seconds left, roughly, in the fight.
Why?
And here comes the last drill smash. Just starting to build up, actually building up stacks of my my ink pot. I should have been doing that the whole
Max
time. I did
cooldown.
not realize that would actually happen. So I lead with the beam as everybody else is there, just because there's, like I said, there's not a good spot to use it otherwise. So I disengage back to make sure I take the damage from the... So watch my Boombas here, because they were headed for us. Make sure I don't get hit by Gatling gun. But I wanted to make sure that the missile did not hit us and do extra damage to the group.
Doable.
Got 50 seconds left on our sated buff, or debuff, I should say.
It is on myself
Just-
in 2 minutes.
Okay, but
Just do
but
some
that doesn't mean
damage
to
here.
celebrate just yet. One of us could die or something.
Something crazy could happen. So down he goes, and then of course
Everybody get laid out
Razdunk
right
is
now.
down too, and we timed it
even
very
with
nice, guys.
mishaps.
So I don't remember what we got. We got a 13. I don't remember what it was though, and I ended up getting Azerite's Resonating
good for
Heart, the
somebody.
trinket. I really wish it was better,
Oh,
but
football.
thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and until my next live stream or video, I'll see you later.